spool of thread and probably a little pair of scissors. So get those and then we'll start by winding our bobbin. So we'll also need to take out our bobbin from our machine. Now your machine will probably come with 2 or 3 bobbins which are empty, and obviously we can now put thread on these. It may be plastic or it may be metal, it just depends on the type of machine that you have. You can see here the Janome ones are plastic. They're basically just like little cylinders, and you have a little hole on either side. So on these flat edges you have a hole, and that's for pulling the thread through. So the first thing we need to do is we need to put our thread onto our spool holder. So yours may be vertical over here, mine is a horizontal one. They are both exactly the same, they're just in different directions. If yours has a spool cap, then put that in place as well. Sometimes you get them for the vertical ones, but very often you get them for the horizontal ones. It just stops the thread from flying off your machine when you're going really fast. And I'm going to pull the thread out. So, on the top of my machine, you can see I've got a couple of diagrams. So normally the instructions for winding the bobbin are this dashed line. The solid line is for threading the machine. So it will help you just tell the difference between what the different symbols are. So this one here is, you can see the dashed line is coming across towards this little round disc here, and then we're bringing it back over towards the bobbin winder. So I'm going to pull it around here. Now, as you pull it in, this has got a tension disc inside it, and when you get it in the right place, which you can see is just above that solid plate at the bottom there. So I'm actually putting it underneath that gap between the disc on the top, the disc on the bottom, and the round disc on the top. And you're pulling it in between the two. And you can feel, once you get it in the right position, you can feel that it's got a bit of tension on there. It's not just pulling freely. This little disc has got hold of it, and that's what we want to make sure that we have, because that will mean that we're actually winding the bobbin tightly. So pull enough thread across so that you've got a little tail here, and then we're going to grab our empty bobbin. Now, I talked to you about the little holes on the top of each of the flat edges of the disc, and we're going to put the thread through one of those holes now. Now, I'm going to bring it into this space in the middle, and I'm going to put it out of the top. There we are. So it's important to have it coming away from the bobbin, because you can see what's going to happen is the thread is going to wrap around this space in the middle. We don't want it going the other way because it's not going to be able to wrap around anything. So it needs to be wrapping around this central pillar on the bobbin. So once I've got a little bit of excess that I can hold on to, I'm just going to put my bobbin, push it down on top of this spool holder. And then once I've got that, I can push it across into place. And you can see my machine has now put up the bobbin symbol, which means that it knows that we're winding the bobbin. This is because it's an electronic machine. So I can just press on my foot pedal and that will start the process of winding the bobbin. Now I'm just going to give it a little blast to begin with, and then we're going to stop and make sure everything is okay. Right, so that's just enough that you can see that there's some thread on the bobbin. I always do this, even however experienced I am. What I don't want is the thread to have come into the wrong place or done something strange, and then you end up with it not filling the bobbin properly, because it can become a mess. So just wind it a little bit, and then you can check that everything is in the right place and doing what it should. Once you've got those threads on there, what you can do is you can trim off your little tail on the top. Now that's important as well, because when you put your foot down on the foot pedal and you start going faster, if you're trying to hold on to this spare tail at the top, you could lose it, and then it would get wrapped around the bobbin, and that would be a thread that shouldn't be there and can cause problems with your sewing. So just trim it off, and then everything will be fine. So now I'm just going to put my foot down on the foot pedal again, and we're going to wind our bobbin. So you can see I can put my foot down quite fast, and the thread is moving up and down. Don't worry if it stays in one area for a while, because it sometimes does that, but it always ends up very even and it sorts itself out. This little buffer here will stop your bobbin from being overwound. Because obviously we don't want to just keep going forever, but we also want it to be full enough to go in the machine. And what happens is, as soon as the machine feels that the bobbin, the thread is up against the buffer, it will start to slow down, and it will start to sort of jutter and stall. And I'll let that happen so you can see it. And you see it's just, and now actually I'm putting my foot down and it's not going any further. So that's what this machine does. Most manual machines will do that as well. Some fancy electronic machines will just stop and the bobbin is full. So you just have a look at your manual and see what level of machine that you have and what your machine will do. So that's our bobbin completely wound. I'm going to pop it back again, and you can see all my functions have come back here because that's no longer pressed across. And I'm just going to snip the thread from the thread spool. And you can see I always like to do a check of my bobbin. And you can see, because this one is a clear one, you can check on the side and make sure everything is looking nice and neat. If you ever see waves or ripples, that means that the bobbin hasn't wound properly, and usually it's because it's not been in this tension disc tight enough. So that means that your bobbin has been wound really baggily and it just won't sew properly. So if that happens, just take the thread off and start again.